Today I'm going to spoil my car. Forget regular carbon fiber. How about giving it a pop of red and separate your Tesla from the others? Welcome back to another accessory unboxing and installation video. Thanks to EVBASE for sending me this item to review. The box arrived in good condition and it's very light. That should tell me something about what's inside. This fits all years of the Model 3, including mine, which is a 2018. It also fits all years of the Model Y. See the video description for the purchase link. Use code RANGER for 15% off. Opening up the end of the box, I flip the end up and slide out the protective shipping foam. There are cutouts for the spoiler and another one for the included accessories. Speaking of which, the first one here is a roll of blue painter's tape. It's used for marking the location of the spoiler and for keeping pressure on it while curing. Next, we have a roll of 3M double-sided tape that is used for additional areas underneath the spoiler. I'll explain a little later. It has a red protective plastic cover that you remove when installing on the car. These two cards have removable labels to mark the ends of the spoiler on the car's trunk. The cutout matches the left and right sides. It's not a bad idea to use gloves when handling before installation. It keeps the surface clean from oily fingerprints. And here is the EVBASE Redline real carbon fiber spoiler or wing itself. The cutout keeps it safe during shipping, and this one is in perfect condition. This EVBASE spoiler wing is made of real carbon fiber, 100% real dry formed carbon fiber with a polycarbonate top coating, which looks great. I have used faux carbon fiber ABS on previous dashboard pieces, but it pales in comparison to the real carbon fiber that has a nice three-dimensional look and weave. And this one is different from regular carbon fiber spoilers in that it has a distinctive red line that runs across the edge, dividing the top from the bottom halves. On the beveled side that will connect to the car, you see two strips of 3M double-sided tape with the red protective backing already installed. Notice that the ends of the spoiler have gaps, which I will fill in with the included tape. I'm not sure why this wasn't done more accurately in the factory, but in any case, I'll show how to do that later. Here is a view of the rear wheel on my car, and you can see the red brake caliper covers and the red logo on the wheel covers. This will look nice with the new Redline wing. I think the dark gray with the red details looks good. Do you have any accent colors on your Model 3 or Y? Let me know in the comments section. As many people know, carbon fiber is very light. For example, I'll place it on this scale. It measures 7.4 ounces or 210 grams. Here are the tools and supplies for this project. Work gloves to keep the carbon fiber clean. A microfiber and/or cloth for cleaning the surface. Auto soap for cleaning. And isopropyl alcohol for the final surface prep. A ruler or measuring tape to verify that the spoiler is centered. Finally, I forgot to include a pair of scissors for trimming the additional double-sided tape. And that's it. The first thing I need to do is to prepare the painted surface of the trunk lid for the spoiler. I spray some auto soap on this microfiber cloth and clean the top of the trunk lid all the way from the left to the right corner. Make sure to clean more than just the area that the spoiler will be attached to. I will go over it a few times. My car was fairly clean to start with. After this is done, pour some isopropyl alcohol on a cloth and then proceed to clean the same area again. This will remove any contaminants on the surface and gives a good base for the 3M double-sided tape to adhere to. I'll also go back and forth a few times to be thorough with this step. Next, I need to test fit the spoiler on the trunk lid. To determine which side is up, look at the label in the middle of the red tape. Place it so you can read the text. The top goes towards the top of the car and the bottom goes towards the bottom of the car. Place it over the edge of the trunk lid. It fits in there very well. In fact, if you press it in all the way, it will stay in place while you figure out the center point. As you can see here, you can move the spoiler back and forth along the crease. The edge of the spoiler is too far out when it sticks out away from the crease line of the trunk lid. You can pretty much determine quickly where the center is by doing this to both sides. Once you have it fairly centered, use a ruler or measuring tape to make sure the distance is the same on both sides. Measure the end of the spoiler tip to the gap between the trunk lid and the side fender. Do this on both sides and adjust until they are the same distance apart. Now is the time to use the painter's tape or the edge labels. I'll use the painter's tape first to show you that option. Just cut off a few inches of tape and attach it to the trunk right at the end of the spoiler. Try to do it fairly straight up and down for best results. Here's the left side. And then do the same thing on the right side. Here's a close-up view of the painter's tape marking the ends of the spoiler location. Note how the spoiler edge stays against the trunk lid crease with no gaps. This is the same on both sides if centered correctly. And again, here's a view from above. As I mentioned before, these are the labels that are included in the kit for marking the ends of the spoiler on the trunk lid. You would place them around the corner so that it matches the shape of the label. Here is the right side. And here is the left side. I'm not going to attach them, just show you roughly where they would go if you didn't use the blue painter's tape. Now I can remove it from the car and do the next step. In the beginning of the video, I noticed that the tape did not extend to the ends of the spoiler. There is a roll of extra tape to use, so I cut a piece of tape so that it just fits inside the open space. I used the scissors to cut it at an angle to stay in the center section and not get too close to the edge. You don't want to see the tape showing. Then I cut a second piece to extend the lower tape edge. Normally, the ends of the spoilers are the weakest points due to the tape. If not done correctly, they could pull up and away from the car's trunk lid. By giving the tape as much surface area for adhesion as possible, this mitigates the issue. And here I do the same thing on the other end of the spoiler. Be careful not to pull too much on the tape because then the protective red plastic may come off and cause the tape to stretch. Now we are ready to install the spoiler. Remove the red plastic from the new tape that I just added. Then start peeling a few inches of the existing tape, both on the top and bottom sections. Leave the protective plastic on the upper section up along the top and the lower section down below the bottom. This will allow it to be removed easier when on the car. Now do the same thing on the other side of the spoiler. When both sides are peeled back several inches, we are now ready to put it on the car. Carefully place the spoiler so that it is in between the two tape pieces that mark the location of the centered final spot. Make sure the two red plastic tabs that are showing on each side, two above the spoiler and two below the spoiler. Start pulling the red plastic towards the center of the spoiler, pulling up at an angle for the top one and down for the lower one. Eventually, both plastic strips will be fully removed. Then go to the other side and repeat the same thing. Pull those towards the center. As you can see, the top right piece got stuck for me. If this happens to you, just gently pull out the spoiler to get the plastic piece loose. Then remove the remaining plastic. Now push on the spoiler to fully seat the groove of it into the trunk lid edge. Do this all along the length of the spoiler. Pay attention to the ends of the spoiler. Those are the most important areas that you want to make sure are firmly attached. Keep doing this a couple times along the length. Now get some strips of the blue painter's tape and attach one to the top center of the trunk lid and go over the spoiler and place the rest of the strip on the lower trunk lid. Do this again every foot or so. I put an extra one near both ends for a total of 9. You can use as many as you wish. Make sure the tape is tight and putting pressure on the spoiler. For curing, approximately 50% of the ultimate strength will be achieved after 20 minutes, 90% after 24 hours, and 100% after 72 hours. So if you keep the painter's tape on for 1 day, you should be fine. Here's a close-up view of the strips of painter's tape applied to keep pressure on the spoiler while the adhesive cures. It is listed by 3M that the ideal temperature is between 70 degrees and 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 to 38 Celsius. After waiting at least 12 hours and preferably 24 hours, remove the painter's tape strips from the trunk. There may be some slight residue from the tape. Just use some car soap and clean off with a microfiber or other cloth if needed. Now you can drive the car and be assured that the spoiler is firmly adhered to the trunk lid. I find that proper installation of exterior items that use double-sided tape makes a huge difference in their longevity. Here are some before and after shots of the rear and side views. Installation is complete. Let's take a closer look at the finished product. The Redline does give a nice pop of color on my otherwise dark gray 2018 Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. The real carbon fiber weave has a nice three-dimensional look. This is the first exterior carbon fiber accessory that I have installed. I have numerous interior real carbon fiber trim, including the dashboard, center console, and steering wheel. Typically, a spoiler will reduce tail turbulence, increase stability, and reduce energy consumption. I can't verify these claims at the moment, but I have done many things to my car that may slightly improve or degrade efficiency. For example, my door handles and mud flaps most likely drop range a tiny bit. However, the aero wheel covers can increase range at highway speeds. I consider most accessory spoilers to be mainly for appearance, and that's how I would view this one too. And if I do notice a difference in efficiency, I'll follow up with that in the future. And here is the view the next day outside so you can see how it looks in natural light. I think this is a beautiful addition to the car. The Redline adds a nice accent and matches well with the red parts that I have on the exterior of my car. With some paint colors like red, the line may blend in and not be as noticeable, while with white, this will likely show the biggest pop of color. The design of the spoiler exactly matches the curvature of the trunk lid edge, which makes installation very easy. I recommend adding a little additional 3M double-sided tape to the ends of the spoiler and using the painter's tape to put pressure on the wing for at least an overnight to 24 hours for maximum adhesion. If this is something that interests you, please see the link in the video description. Don't forget to use code RANGER for 15% off your purchase of this and any other EVBASE product. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.